Great. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for making the time to come and see this talk of ours. How's LT going for everyone so far? We all got space. We're feeling good, not overwhelmed by all the people. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how do you develop a learning culture and community that attracts, develops, and retains diverse talent. Tell you what I don't have, is I don't have the clicker.
Oh, schoolboy error.
There we go, that would be helpful. So, who are we? So LearnAmp, we're a leading people development platform. Our stand is just over there. Please come and see us. I won't say any more. We're not looking to sell to you as part of this. But what we want to do is we want to give a little bit of backdrop about why the last couple of years has obviously been so tricky in the world of L&D, and also how this has kind of improved the necessity for being able to really think about your employee journey and every moment that matters in attracting, developing, and retaining diverse talent. So if you look at the work of Future of Work HR sentiment survey from this year, last year, if you look at the white line here, you're looking at employee experience. So 60% of people this year in senior HR roles are saying that employee experience is a strategic objective for them. So one of the top 5 strategic objectives for them. They're also saying that improving their existing technology has become one of the biggest things that they would look to double their budget on as well. So this is what HR people are saying across the globe, and it's up from 10% last year. We all know about the Great Resignation. So obviously it's been very difficult for people working in HR and L&D roles. Lots of people have been leaving businesses. The person that actually came up with this is a guy called Anthony Klotz in 2019. He predicted it. And he basically said the reason people are going to leave businesses is because who we are is really important, and how we bring ourselves to work is hugely important as well. So as we come in contact with death and illness, it gets us to take a step back and think about the big questions. Why are we here? Why are we doing what we do? What's the purpose of the work that we do as well? So purpose and happiness have become a much bigger part of who we are and what we want from the workplace. The impact of the Great Resignation, I mean, this slide says it all. If you see the years leading up to 2020, a relatively even kind of keel. 2021 just went absolutely off the scale in terms of people leaving businesses. So there's very kind of clear proof there that we're having real issues, that we're having to think about what can we all do in terms of retaining talent. So why the exodus? Hayes, who's one of the big recruiting experts worldwide, said it's down to these main reasons. People have had more confidence now to think about new opportunities. They've had time to think. There's so many new opportunities out there for people. People do not want to return to the office. They want much more flexibility in terms of the kind of work that they do. And they've had time to reflect and think about what do they want their future career to be. So what kind of skills do I need into the future? They've also been able to save money. So they've got a bit more financial freedom. I can actually choose what I want to do now. I don't just have to do what I was previously doing. And also, as you'll see, wages are going up incredibly. So people are much more attracted to thinking about other places they can go to work that might also pay them more money. And crucially, a lot of people haven't been enjoying the kind of work that they do. So the impact on business has been pretty massive. If you just look at the US market, most of this is from the US labor force surveys. You had 47.8 million people quit their job last year, with an average of 4 million each month. 74% of people globally are apparently evaluating their work and what they want to do, and only 20% are actually engaged in the work that they do. These are big numbers. So people are really looking around for the new kinds of opportunities. But when you do get people that are engaged, when they're happy in the work that they do, it's 20% more difficult to poach somebody that's engaged in their work than from somebody that's having a bad time and potentially wants to move elsewhere. And I think it's very interesting, if you look at the stats at the bottom, the demographic is actually the people in the middle of their careers that are leaving. So people 35, 40, 45, 50, they're the ones that are leaving. And you've got a greater risk of managers leaving as well. So the people that are most valuable, probably in some ways, to organizations, those are the ones that are thinking about reskilling and are concerned about their career growth. So if you then start to compound this and double it up, the cost of recruiting new people when they are leaving is huge. So on average, it takes 39 days to fill an average vacancy, $98 per day in terms of filling those. And it can cost 40% of an employee's base salary to get the next person in. These are big, big numbers. It's costing businesses a huge amount to bring new talent in. And you can see that 23% of all new hires are quitting before the first year. So you're doing all this work, you're spending all this money, and people aren't even sticking around. Again, compounding effect, you then have onboarding. So people do then join, and most people are saying they're not having a good onboarding experience. So only 12% say that their onboarding was good. You've got strong onboarding though, leading toward 82% improved retention and 70% better productivity. So just solving that part of the journey can make a huge difference. And then you've also got the likelihood that those people are going to be really helpful in recruiting good other talent. So 83% of people say that it's improved just with good communication or getting more manager involvement. And also they're more likely to say they're satisfied and to refer you in to other people. And we all know that referrals are one of the biggest, most important things as part of your recruitment strategy as well. So the top tips for adapting and kind of addressing these issues comes from a Gartner report where they looked at lots of multiple kind of leading businesses. What are they doing as part of their strategy? So I don't know if everyone knows what your EVP is, but essentially it's what you offer your employees. Think of yourself as a product. What do you sell to the people that buy it from you? That's your EVP. So are you redesigning your EVP and thinking about how attractive it could be to other people? How much will they really want to join you? And when they join, have you really thought through the journey in the way that you think about a customer? What's your customer journey? What's your employee journey? So redesigning roles for flexibility to make them more competitive and appealing is a big part of that. And also thinking outside of the box when it comes to recruitment strategies, which Lou's going to talk about just how well Metro do that and the impact that's had on their business as well. Improving diversity, equality and inclusion is a huge part of that. Thinking about not just hiring people, but thinking about how do you hire for talent, how do you hire for attribute, and how do you then start to train people up for the skill. Addressing skill gaps is huge, and also rethinking where people work. So where do we come into this L&D? It sounds like a lot of HR stuff, but actually L&D's got a huge part to play in this. So we can absolutely help with attracting talent by the kinds of learning and development programs that we can offer. It's the biggest reason that people join businesses is the skills that they can learn and the kinds of opportunities that they can develop within that organization. So we're at the absolute front of the queue in terms of thinking about what that product looks like. Improving ramp time, there's huge savings. If you can get somebody up to speed within 6 months rather than 1.5 months, if you look at the bottom line, the impact to your business is huge, especially when you've got turnover of staff. So thinking about how you can increase and get people up to speed quicker. And a lot of that is about giving more autonomy, allowing them to self-serve and drive their own development. Again, we'd love to talk to you about how we do that. And then retaining talent is obviously huge. And again, a lot of that is about upward mobility. It's around succession planning. It's around providing them with opportunities to learn and to develop. And then this is a really big one that I think a lot of businesses don't think enough about. People are going to leave businesses. The big thing is about retaining the talent and retaining the knowledge that they've got so they don't leave that as they go out the front door. So how do you collectively soak up the wisdom of people whilst they're in the business so that that knowledge retains in the business so it can be used for the business going forward? So knowledge retention would be my number one thing for you guys to all think about. And we really come in from this point. So we come in from the moment that you can start to hire people in, thinking about pre-boarding, onboarding. And then for us, it's very much about aligning the organization to the individual in terms of what's their development. So career aspirations were the aspirations of the business around your role. So that's enough from me. I'm going to hand over to Lou. But I'm just going to end on this slide, which is, if any of you aren't currently measuring this, employee lifetime value, I would start doing it, because this will be the hidden cost about how much are you actually spending on recruitment, how quickly are you getting people up to speed so that they're actually starting to be a positive net contributor, and then if you're starting to be able to retrain them and keep them in the business. This is not a scientific equation, it's just kind of indicative, but in every industry, this will be making a difference. If you keep people just 3 months longer, 6 months longer, a year longer, you'll see just how exponential that saving can be, because you're not hiring, you're not training people up, you're retaining that talent in the business. So please do have a think about that. And yeah, over to Lou in terms of how they do this at Metro.
Thanks.
Just that one.
Just that guy. Cool. So, oh wow, it's really loud. Sorry to shock everyone. So at Metro Bank, we're on a mission to become the UK's best community bank. And that's why it's really important to us that we recruit within our local communities. And actually, even since we opened our doors back in 2010, our ethos and our philosophy has all been around hire for attitude and train for skill. So if you come to us and you're a great cultural fit and you are passionate about customers as much as we are, then we'll help you to transfer your skills into a career in banking. And this is true really in everything we do, from our apprenticeships all the way to the great work that our recruitment team is doing with ex-military, for example, as well. So we also we hire in as well skilled expertise, and they bring in that really unique sort of technical knowledge as well, so that we have a really diverse team that can help us get behind our mission to achieve becoming that best community bank. So Joe's talked a little bit about the colleague experience and why it's so important. So I'm not going to go through everything that we do in each of these areas at Metro, but I could talk about it for days, so do get in touch. But we're going to look at how we look at welcoming and connecting our colleagues and then developing and empowering them throughout their journey with us. So welcome and connect. So something we're really proud of, and I've got some of my team here who've been involved in putting this together, is our Visions program. This is our cultural onboarding program, which helps our colleagues to connect with each other, with their managers, and also with their job roles as well. So understanding what's involved within their jobs. We also have at the same time as this program a parallel sort of work stream for our senior leaders to help them to support this new onboarding for their colleagues, so that they don't miss out on any key milestones throughout the journey, and are there to support, nurture, and inspire throughout. So you can see here that we have a regular Voice of the Colleague survey that we send out, and we've consistently achieved very high ratings for our newbies, our new starters, our new colleagues, for camaraderie and culture. And these are 5 and 7 points above our global supplier benchmark for those same topics. So we've done really well in this area. So a little bit of behind the scenes of how LearnAmp has helped us to support this. So Visions was based around sort of some key areas of culture, belonging, self-confidence, and also role clarity. And then after Visions, we also have additional role training later on down the line. But this one is all about belonging, making you feel welcome and connecting. So one thing we have as part of this program is live and online events, which include things like guest speakers. So anything from our CEO to our Chief People Officer coming to talk to our new starters. And we also have a self-serve library where colleagues can dip in and out of different learning that they want to explore around Metro and what makes us great. The other thing that we do, which is really cool, is we keep this process going throughout 6 months, and we have like a spaced repetition of missions where we send these out. These are automated actually by LearnAmp, and they come into our newcomers LXP to-do list. And these missions are all around helping colleagues to connect with their colleagues, with their managers, again, with their role. And could be anything from checking in with your buddy, so go grab a coffee with your buddy. Here are some conversation starters, go ahead and use those. Grow your LinkedIn network with Metro Bank colleagues as well. And even things like contracting with your manager as well. So what are your working hours? How do you like to work? How do you like to communicate? So we want people to take responsibility and feel like they can be their real selves. And that's really why what we're really big on at Metro. And then finally, the other thing is that I mentioned is around the support for line managers. And again, our line managers have these 6 monthly or once a month missions for 6 months to alert them to these key milestones. So things like your new starter is about to join. Don't forget to send them a welcome email with information about, what's coming up and that kind of thing to really make the journey a really seamless process. So we're also going to have a look at how we develop and empower our colleagues. And for this, we're not going to talk about some of the specific case studies, but more our sort of wider catalogue and how we're using that to really enrich our programs. So first thing that we have is our created and curated learning. So we have a great bunch of in-house developers who create a lot of our, for example, regulatory learning. Because obviously we're a bank, we have to have our regulatory learning as well, but we like to make it a bit zesty, put our culture in with that as well. So we have that. And then we also have, which is really important for creating that sort of diverse learning culture and inclusive learning culture, is our community-led piece, where we get our colleagues involved in creating learning learning items,
Both
learnings, and sharing that authentic knowledge and experience with their peers. So here you can see some examples of that. So one thing that we started during the pandemic was our health and wellbeing hub. And as part of that, we had colleague blogs, and these are written by anyone from our senior leaders, some of our exco level leaders, all the way down to everybody in stores, lots of people getting involved in sharing their stories. So it really helps with that kind of sense of belonging and that sense of authenticity, which we think is so important in creating an inclusive learning environment. The other thing is, if you're not really big on writing or blogging, you can get involved in creating one of our videos. So they could be an explainer video, it could be a reflection video. And we have all different sorts of things that we're using, which I'll come back to shortly. But again, LearnAmp has a self-record system on their platform. So we can actually make it really easy for colleagues to record themselves, like using their phones or their desktops as well. So we have all of these different things, and then the colleague-led events. Again, we get people to put on and run their own events on different learning topics. And these are often, for example, by our inclusion networks. So it could be, for example, Embody, who are our health and wellbeing network, or Empride, who are our LGBTQ+ network. And lots of lunch and learns that you can sign up to and attend as well. So then we look at, okay, how can we put these together and curate them in learning pathways? So things like these hubs here have been really helpful for us, for anything like health and wellbeing all the way through to leadership. And we've got lots of different hubs to make it really easy for our colleagues to navigate and find learning for themselves as and when they need it. So I'm going to end with just showing you something that we're doing actually in some of the user-generated space around this sort of more commsing side. So we're also trying to use video as a way to market, we call ourselves Metro Bank University, trying to market ourselves a bit more and what learning we have to offer. And I'm going to show you a little TikTok-inspired video. Ooh, is it going to work? There we go, cool. Do I see to press play?
I might just press play on here.
Okay, cool. And this is all around our learning, looking ahead to Learning at Work week. Ooh, I'll talk after. So that's just a little teaser of what we're doing as well in that kind of marketing side. So we've got all this great learning. How are we drawing people in to get them involved? And we've done a lot of user analysis and user work around what sort of learning people like. And TikTok and that style is really big. So that's it from me. And I'm gonna play the video again. Just show myself again. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave a few questions just to have a think and reflect about what you're doing in your companies as well. And then please feel free to ask any questions to me or Joe.
Great.
Thanks, dear.
Thank you very much for the time today, guys. In terms of the main takeaways, remember we were talking about people bringing themselves to work, a sense of belonging, being more authentic. I think these are some great examples of how Metro Bank do that. We'd love to talk to you about how we do this within the platform itself, but hopefully it's been a good session. We'd love to talk to you. Come and see us at the stand. Thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.